As we all know, the Drowned is a powerful mob that wields a trident. Countless players fall victim to them every single day. So where did this creature actually come from? And how did zombies evolve into the Drowned? Today I'm gonna walk you through the origin of Minecraft's very first Drowned. A long time ago, a builder desperate to escape the fear of death began searching for a way to live forever, but he accidentally fell into a valley. After death, his resentment turned him into a zombie. He went on to infect many other builders, and a zombie society was born, but they still longed to be alive. Every night they tried to communicate with humans, hoping to find a cure. But unlike the witches, who tried to save zombie villagers out of kindness, people only cared about themselves. Why bother with something that doesn't benefit them? Eventually, the zombies gave up hope and settled underground. They started families and raised children, but as time went on, their hatred for humans only grew stronger. Every night when darkness fell, they would swarm into human settlements, pounding on their doors to vent their frustration. From then on, hunting humans became pure instinct. This hatred has persisted to this day. Eventually, zombies took over the night. Some players tried to fight back, but the zombies came in endless waves, forcing them to retreat. Only when the sun rose could people finally catch a break. To avoid the sun's damage, zombies would seek shelter in the shadows. A pool of water was also a solid option. When cornered, they would even dive into the deep ocean. This is what happened to a zombie. Named Drew, he was at the beach stomping, on turtle eggs having the time of his life. It took him a while to realize his body was burning. In a panic, he jumped into the ocean, but he quickly regretted that decision. The water was way deeper than he expected. Since he couldn't swim, he got stuck at the bottom. The fear of death started flooding his mind, but soon a little sea turtle caught his attention. The urge to kill drove him to chase after the turtle. His waterlogged lungs burned like fire, but his bloodlust took over his mind completely. Soon the seawater soaked through his skin, turning his body a shade of blue. By the time he snapped out of it, he had surfaced. Guilt hit him instantly. He realized the little turtle he tried to kill had actually saved his life. Fine, I will let you live. Leave before I change my mind. Drew waited in the water for nightfall. He also noticed some changes in his body, but he figured it was only temporary. Time would sort everything out. What he didn't notice, though, were two shady builders behind him, watching his every move. Drew's unusual color had caught their attention. They decided this was worth investigating. While they were talking, Drew noticed the commotion. Hatred took control of his body, and he launched an attack. But they didn't want Drew dead. They wanted to capture him alive. When Drew woke up, he found himself inside a massive pool, surrounded by iron blocks, as he looked around to assess his surroundings. The two men entered the lab. They had a plan to run experiments on Drew. This unique zombie was sure to bring them some unexpected discoveries. Over the next few days, Drew was put through countless tests. He kept fighting back, and even killed a few staff members. One experiment involved exposing him to direct sunlight. Under these conditions, most zombies would head for the shadows, but Drew preferred going toward water sources. Even with obstacles in the way, he could pinpoint water precisely. At night, though, he seemed to completely ignore the water. Well, if he likes the pool so much, maybe we ought to keep him in there. To study how water affected Drew, they built a copper house inside the pool. They even drained the water from his room, giving him some breathing space. Living in water for so long caused Drew's body to change again. His skin turned completely blue, and he gradually adapted to the underwater environment. But he still had to return to his room regularly for oxygen. This caused constant friction with the copper blocks. That's why when you kill a Drowned, there's a chance it drops copper ingots. As time passed, Drew's body grew stronger. He fought back again. Since he stayed underwater so long, the researchers couldn't observe him properly. They planned to flood Drew's room with seawater, forcing him to surface for air. The moment they entered the pool, Drew attacked immediately. His body had been enhanced by the water. Every punch packed tremendous power. Even so, he still couldn't stop the staff. Soon the room was completely flooded. After finishing the job, the two quickly left. Over the next few hours, Drew nearly drowned himself several times. He tried to give in, but they weren't about to let him go. All Drew wanted was freedom to play on the beach again and see his family. These thoughts became his driving force. Freedom is what every creature desires. Drew refused to give up. He started planning his escape. For a while, Drew just stayed quietly in the water, acting completely tame. This made the staff let their guard down. They figured Drew couldn't survive without water anymore, let alone try to escape. The plan worked perfectly. When night fell, Drew surfaced and made his way through the long corridors. But he ran into two guards around a corner. Hey, isn't that the mutant he escaped the pool room? They drew their weapons and charged at him. But there was no way he was going back to that hellhole. He fought back hard and quickly took one down. That's when the other guy realized Drew was different. Normally, a regular zombie goes down in 2 or 3 hits, but Drew's strength was beyond anything they imagined. After taking out the last guy, he grabbed a fishing rod and got out of there. But what he saw next completely shocked him. Before him lay a vast desert, stretching endlessly in every direction. Drew wasted no time and started crossing the desert. He knew exactly what kind of risk he was taking. If he couldn't find shelter before the sun came up, he would burn to death. The moon drifted silently across the sky. After a whole night of running, Drew's body was completely exhausted. The time was running out. A ray of sunlight hit the desert sand. Panic set in, but at the last second he found water. Dragging his battered body, he made it to the river. As the water healed him, his wounds turned deep blue. His blood dried into a brown crust, covering his body. He also gained the ability to break blocks. In the water, he found a nautilus shell. When he picked it up, he realized he could breathe underwater. With the shell's help, he headed into the deep ocean. His past battles taught him how important weapons were. After hours of exploring the seabed, he discovered some ancient ruins. At the entrance, he noticed someone had already carved an opening. Once inside, he heard voices coming from above. Drew charged up without hesitation. His appearance caught them completely off guard. They had never seen a zombie survive underwater. In seconds, both of them were dead. He picked up the prismarine shards and some stones they dropped. Staring at the shards, he felt something calling out to him. The blood of the two gathered around him. Drew's body began to transform again. His eyes turned deep blue. His underwater vision became crystal clear, and seaweed began growing on his head. His body had absorbed so much water that he could now float freely. The prismarine shards in his hand transformed into a three-pronged weapon. For the first time, Drew felt what it was like to float in water. He swam out with his new weapon. This trident felt like an extension of his own body. He could easily take out fish from a distance. He could even launch it out of the water. What surprised him most was that the villager he killed didn't actually die. Instead, it became a zombie villager. Even better. Drew was very pleased with his trident. Then he headed back to the lab for revenge. Night was just falling, and zombies appeared all around him, drawn to the power radiating from Drew. Seeing him with the trident, he looked like a king. Many zombies began following him. Even though leaving the water made Drew uncomfortable, he kept moving toward the lab. Drew attracted many followers along the way. By the time he reached the lab, he had a full zombie army behind him. A guard noticed something was off. Just as he turned to warn the others, Drew attacked him directly. The guard looked back in horror and saw two more tridents flying at him. After killing the guard, Drew led his army into the lab, overwhelming everyone with sheer numbers. But some guards were well equipped and couldn't be easily overpowered. Tridents were scattered all over the hallways. He decided to move the battlefield. Brothers, give yourself to the water and receive the same gifts I've been given. Under Drew's lead, all the zombies jumped into the water. During the process, many of them started to transform. Then two guards burst into the lab. Drew instantly attacked one of them and quickly turned him into a zombie. More and more drowned emerged in the water. Soon everyone in the lab was dead, but Drew's thirst for revenge still wasn't satisfied. He created a drowned army and placed treasure chests and magma blocks across the ocean floor to lure in more victims. But no matter how many he killed, Drew's heart could never find peace.